In previous classes, you have come to know about what are exceptions and how exceptions are used in programming. But now let us know about threads and what is the concepts of threads. So let's go into the video. Now coming to the concepts of threads. Before knowing the concepts of thread, first anyone needs to know about the three concepts. First thing is task, second thing is process, and third thing is threading. In case of task is nothing but the work, and the process is the way of doing work. Next, thread means the one who is doing the work. Consider a guy Ram. Basically, he comes daily very often to the college, but on one day he got late to the office or late to the college. He need to run faster and catch the bus so that he reaches to the time. His task is to reach college, but his process are he need to run and catch the bus. This is his process. Here Ram is the thread. Hope all of you come to know about the concept of thread, process and task. Okay, now coming to threading. The way of doing work by the thread, this is the most important. The way of doing the work by the thread is known as threading. Hope all of you come to know about the concepts of task, process and thread and threading. So after this we need to know about. So after those concepts we need to know about multitasking, multiprocessing, next multi-threading. I think most of you have already guessed what is these defines. In case now coming to about multitasking means doing multiple works at the same time, whereas coming about multiprocessing, doing multiple works and also telling the way of doing works. But multiple threading means making work of different threads at same time. Let me explain it with an example. Consider a guy, Ganesh, who need to participate in a running race and he needs to win first prize. For this, he need to get a proper coach and need to get trained and perform well. His task is to win first prize in the running competition, whereas he has the process of getting proper coach, need to get trained, perform well. Okay, for this we use two threads. One is the trainer and another is Ganesh himself. So here we are trying to perform with the help of two threads, means it is also a process of multi-threading. Hope all of you understand what is meant by multi-threading. Now about life cycle of a thread. For everything there will be a life cycle. So for this also thread, for a thread there will be few states. First thing, new state or created state. It is the point where the thread is created but haven't assigned any work. After completing of the creating a thread, there will be other state called active state. In this, we have two states, running state or runnable state, which means now let me tell about active state. In before knowing active state, after creating a thread, it will be remains in the creative state, but after assigning some work it comes to active state. In this these have two types, which are runnable and running. Means if the work is already started by the thread, then that is called running. If the work should be started by the thread, is known as runnable. Okay, which means running means the thread is already completing the task or performing the task. Runnable means need to perform the task. Again, next one is wait or block. Both of these happen at the same time. In case if any thread haven't received any work, then it should be rested, means waiting state. In case of block state, if any thread try to take the work of other thread, then that thread automatically goes into blocked state. This waiting state or blocked state are combinedly known as timed waiting state. Next, once these threads got assigned of any work, then they will go to automatically to active state, and in this active state they again performs running and runnable. After once the thread is completed their work, there will be a state called terminating state. The state where thread is already completed its work, so it will be deleted. So that this is the life cycle of the thread. Let me explain with a tree or flowchart. First, the thread is created. In case if it has any work, then it will goes to active state. In this, it may be classified into running or runnable. In case it doesn't have any work, it will goes to waiting state. After waiting state, if the thread tries to take any work from of other thread, it will move into blocked state, and which cannot be in generally replaced or recome. But if the work is assigned to the waiting thread, then the thread comes from waiting state to active state. Then later on, after or any work is assigned to the block thread, then it is also comes to active state. Later on, these threads will be classified into running or runnable, and after once the work is run, this runnable also need to move at a point to the running mode, and this runnable thread state will be come into terminating thread. It is the point where the thread will be completing its work. So on come to know about this, we need to perform a program to know about thread and thread class. Now let's talk about creation of thread. How to create a thread. To create a thread, there will be two ways. By extending thread class or by implementing runnable interface. Now first talk about by extending thread class. In this, we can extend any thread with the help of constructors and methods, which means there will be a class name which gets extends by thread class, and there will be a constructor of a naming thread which can contain a string name or a runnable and its reference variable, runnable interface or its reference variable. Next, the most common methods used in this class by using thread class. Most used methods are run, start, get the priority, all such things. Run means the method used in case of run state. Start, the method is used to create or to start the thread. Get priority means there may be a number of ways of threads or number of threads. In that, let us need to know about a particular thread T1. So this also has some priority. So on using get priority method, we come to know about the priority of this thread. There are many other such methods we use, which we will come to know in further classes by using runnable interface. As you all know, to run any interface, we need to implement those. So we use class name and implement runnable interface. This is the basic syntax. But in case of these, we doesn't have any much methods. In case of the runnable interface, we have only one method called run method. There will be no other methods in this runnable interface.